Okay, back up here again. My son Daniel is back working, and we got the other battery up here. I finally got my truck working. Hasn't seemed to make too much of a difference on here. 53.3. It's been raining and all day, and I had a little bit of charging happening, but so it really hasn't dented the battery much. So it's doing what I kind of hoped. Okay, so that's pretty good right there. I have the bigger chisel there that's set really deep. So what I'll do is So as I'm working on this here, I realized you need, these still need spindles in between. You can't put a 4-inch tube through for building code. I think that's pretty much everywhere because of baby's head. Wow, that's really close there. So the spindle warps it all. So what I've decided to do is it's just add a little strip. It's a bit of extra work, and you can see that piece has already come out. So I've gotten up here, hides the receptacle. I have to bang the old one out here, and that's a fair bit of work just cutting out those boxes there, but it's got to be done. So this worked out pretty nicely here. Actually came in more than I thought. Now you can see that ended up having a bit of a gap in it. I'm not entirely sure why, and that might come back, but like it might go back up against there. It should, but as you can see now, I've got 3 3/4, so I'm well within the 4 inches. Yeah. So from the idea of putting just a piece of straight pine up to the top, I kind of like this a lot more, and then once we get up here, it's just going to go around the corner and then follow it up the stairs. Probably work on this section here next of the hallway because they make such a mess of the floor. You know, you're going to plane stuff and chip stuff off. And then, yeah, I got this. I've got some pieces cut out already for this ceiling upstairs, which never got finished. And hopefully I have enough pine. We left out the closet just in case. That's in the master bedroom. Once I've got all the other pine done, I'll leave that end open there so I can push stuff out. So, since it was raining today, I'm working on a very difficult part here. You can see it's much brighter in here with the lights. I don't even have them all on. So, yeah, it makes a huge difference. So, remember we needed to have less than 4 inches, and sure enough, we're at 3 7/8. So we're good, as long as we go up that high. This was an extremely difficult corner to do. I ended up making 3 of these pieces there. It still has a bit of a gap on the bottom. And then coming around to here, as you can see, all the wood chips everywhere. I had to plane that back. I had that piece already cut, so the angle seems to be okay. And then I had to put some backing in there. I'll have to put some backing up there. One more piece. So I think the way I got to start this is to put a piece on top of that when the angle's right. Work my way around the corner to the front. but I'm getting hot and tired. This has been a very frustrating, just getting these pieces cut, fitting them. It's really difficult. I'd have to say drywalling a place. It's gotta be so much easier. This is like doing trim carpentry, but on the walls and everything, and I still have to do the trim carpentry. Like I still have to, you know, do the door jambs, hang the doors, baseboards, casings. I have to do that. And yet when I'm doing this pine, it's like most of these joints are like they're not just plain. Like I said, I could have just run a board up and made it easier on the end, but then I would always look at it and think it looked like crap. So if I saw someone else do something like that, I'd say, oh yeah, I guess most people wouldn't see it, but I would, and it would bug me. So doing it the right way the first time. Don't know if I'm going to videotape anymore or if this is going to be the end of one of my pining ones. I don't know, kind of sweaty right now. Might let's go down to the dock for a little bit. Take a bit of a rest. Kind of, sometimes you like to leave your work at a good note. That you've got the one piece done. You got the angles right. It fit. You know how it's going to go together. So if it's getting late in the day, sometimes it's just, you're better off to quit and then, start again. But, because how it's easy to get started now. I know what to do next. So I'll see what happens. Okay, so I got another board up this morning. It's I'm going back today and then coming back later in the week. Lots of I'm nice sharp hand plane. This is end grain. If anyone of you guys have ever tried planing, it's pine, so it's easier, but just to get the angle right of the stairs is kind of hard. It's not perfect, but I got a gap there, but I do have some filler I can always add. So I've gotten as high as here. So it's a lot of work. It's like doing trim carpentry for your whole house. Got really cool today. But I've got other things I've got to work on. One of them is, so this here, we needed a cover for the barbecue. I did the wood thing a while ago, and then I had this is left over from the flashing from underneath the chimney there. We bought a whole sheet of it. Took tin whacking in high school, so that was a really badly cut end, and I'm folding it over. And I'll probably have to cut it down, and then hopefully my tin whacking skills and the little tool I've got, which is in here. I don't know if the snips I have are very good, but if I bend this thing here, if I can get that bend over to get rid of any sharp edges, put a drip edge on it so it stays on there, then it'll keep the water off of that. And it's getting really windy out there. Yeah. Oh well. So I'm gonna do that. Set the mouse trap because it's getting cold. That means they're going to be looking for places. Supposedly they got in somewhere by the siding here, but My feeling is they haven't gotten in here where the food is because they don't. If they go so far, they're going to go into the um, Roxel, and they don't like that. The Roxel insulation, rock wool. So I don't. There's nothing else you can do about them. I mean, with the board and batten, try, try trying to keep them from coming in if they want to come in is really difficult because they can climb up it really easy. There's the gap between the two boards that's covered by the batten. I thought of putting like wire mesh in there or something like that to keep them out, but I, I, I don't know. So far they haven't gotten inside, so I'm just hoping they can't get in, so I won't have to deal with the little beggars in here. But I'll set the trap in the trailer. I have a pail with um, you bait it and it's got a little flap and they walk across to get to the bait and then the flap goes and they fall in the bucket of water. Some people will do it humanely and take them out to a field and let them go. Um, I just kill them. I hate them. There's so many stupid mice around. They're such a nuisance up here. I think we need more snakes and more animals that eat them. Um, but yeah, the thing is, you may take them quite a ways from your house, but they may even find their way back. So the idea is to reduce the population. Anyways, I think that's it for this trip, and then next week, hopefully I can get a big chunk of the pine done. Um, I'll be worrying a lot less about the other things. Oh yeah, put water in the tank. Up my little thing to collect rainwater because it's been raining here so much that the roof is washed off good. So I have to disconnect that before I go. So it's just so that it's not overflowing. And so if it does dry out and we get rain that you know I guess bird poop and stuff like that can get washed in there. So try to rinse the roof off first and then put water in the tank in the basement. It's just over half full, so even though it rained all day yesterday, but then next time it rains again, I'll make sure I get it filled up before winter. Okay, so I've bent this over. Went from using this tool. It'll flatten it too, but it's harder on the hands, and I just hammered it over. And I'm going to cut this, and then bend over a flap at the front and the back, and then hopefully make a bend in it so it'll stay on. No sun for the solar panels. Okay, to make that cut, I used an awl. That's what I learned in shop class. The only problem is it's powder coated metal. In other words, it's coated with a powder and then treated, I believe, with either heat or electricity. or both. I don't know. And then the powder is like a paint, and it gets baked on, and therefore you get this sort of thing, and it never rusts. Now, if I mark it with an awl, does that cause it to rust? So even though that's what I was taught, because it makes a little bit of a groove and you get a really accurate, I think I'm going to switch to pencil. Pretty handy little tool, this. I don't know where I saw it or what got me to buy it, but okay, and there's where it starts to get a little difficult. My hands aren't this is easy. The old Porsche, I think it was the 356, or was it the old Mercedes? They used to, I mean, I guess with most cars, they used to hammer out the fenders with a hammer. on the metal. You see that metal? The metal is curling as they do this. So they would hammer the metal, shape it to be fenders for some of the most iconic sports cars in the world. Stuff people can do with their hands. One thing is important to work accurately up to the line so it's not so squiggly. Did I say this before? This is why they call this tin whacking. Now, the only problem I have is this thing only bends in so far. So, not exactly sure what I'm going to do next. This will keep the water off of it. Probably ought to make it look a little bit nicer, but I don't know if I should screw it. I have some, if I had some little nails that I could just nail across the bottom. I'll have to see. I think I'm going to stop now. Put some screws there. I have some double-sided tape. Just afraid that won't hold. I don't know. Figure it out. Okay, so this is how it turned out. I could reach my little tool in that far do the bottom, and I thought about putting some nails in there, but I'm not sure. I waited a couple of days to. I found 2 green screws from the roof there, and it seems to be holding up pretty good. So yeah, that's it. Doesn't leak. Okay, so I've started the dirty deed here. Um, this does not have to be insulated as well as an exterior wall, because you're really trying to deaden the sound in between, absorb the sound. I kind of tended to find I can either build it up like that or go above it and then kind of stuff it in. So I've got above there done, and I figured I'd save that last piece so that, because all the piece up there will be the same. And then I've managed to work around the railing so far. I had to take one spindle out, but I've got that one short piece sticking out, and then that's going to be extended all the way through. And insulating that's not going to be very nice, because it's, you know, you're working on the stairs and that stuff's going to be falling everywhere. I do notice it's getting me congested, even though it's rock salt is supposed to be heavier, so it sinks to the bottom. It doesn't hang in the air. But you know, when you have the nailer going too, it kind of shoots there and lets particles go. I mean, it's not insulation, but like fiberglass insulation, that really bugs me a lot. But I can tell right now it's getting oh well, it's going fast. And anyway, so I've set up this water barrel here that I fill up from that's one of the rain, that collects the rainwater from the back. Okay, that collects the rainwater from the back. And I've got that electric pump that works off of my little 12-volt battery. This thing here fills the trailer up with water, and that's my pipe for connecting the rainwater for inside. But it did it did rain today, but not enough to bother connecting that. So I have a hand pump, and then we're gonna set it in there, make a wooden top for it or something, set it in there, and then maybe take those wooden racks, put them underneath, and then, you know, you can wash your feet or wash babies. Anyways, the one nice thing I have for after I get all itchy, and this is an outdoor shower. Tiles down there, it's hooked up to gas, so when you turn the water on, it lights itself, and you get hot water. I had a shower yesterday, so that's one thing I can look forward to in this icky time of insulating. Although I don't feel itchy at all. It's more or less my sinuses, and I'm getting stuffed up. Okay, so I got the insulation done, and I'm ready to put long through board in there. I've got one full one, and then I'll have to cut the top of the second one. Problem with wearing a mask so you don't breathe in the stuff, I had a hat on too, is you sweat like crazy behind the mask. So all the little fibers tend to want to stick to your face because it's all wet, right? So you got to kind of tend to have it more in your eyes and on your face when you wear a mask. But I guess that's better than breathing it in. That's just the one wall. There's two more big walls to be done. Anyways, I'm going to try and get that done today. Get those two pieces of pine up. Well, three. Try and get the hallway done. Then I can sweep that stuff up and get rid of it. Tired of looking at it. Insulation, I mean. Wish me luck. Square here. Come on. Way off. Well, I have a feeling I'm off there. So from down here, I can see a little bit of a gap there. And maybe put another nail in there and try and tighten it up. So I got just done here. I got the first piece there, and I got this piece running through. So I have to cut a small piece to go underneath because the drywall is going to be behind there. I'm going to put a J molding in there and put the drywall into it. I have this wall done up to the top, and then this here also. Very hard to do up where the insulation is, but at least the hallway's done and the insulating's over.